Hi, and welcome to Wilder Outdoor Academy. In today's lesson, I'll show you how to make an A-frame tarp shelter. For today's lesson, you'll need a few things. The first is about 20 feet of paracord. So just some rope. You're going to need 4 smaller pieces of paracord that are cut to about 1.5 feet each. So 4 of those. You will need 4 tent stakes. And here, just in case you want to see them, these are the tent stakes. And you'll need a tarp. This one is about 6 feet by 8 feet. It's got rivets in it. You got to make sure it's got holes that you can tie some knots through. That's it. So 20 feet of paracord, 4 pieces at about 1.5 feet, 4 tent stakes, and a tarp. And then obviously 2 trees that we're going to tie between. Let's get started. Okay, so the first step in doing this is to take your long 20-foot piece of paracord, and we're going to tie on one end what's called a bowline knot. We're going to tie a loop to create a bowline knot. And the bowline is it's a fun knot because it has a story that goes with it. So we take this end right here, call this the tag end, the shorter end, and we pretend that it's a rabbit. And we twist a little loop, just twist a loop and hold it. Here's our story. We have a rabbit, we have a hole, we have a tree, that's the long end. The rabbit goes up through the hole, around the tree, so it goes like through the back of the tree, whoosh, and then it goes back into the hole, back through the hole. And to tighten it, we pull the tree, not the rabbit. If you pull the tree, it'll tighten. If you pull the rabbit, it'll go loose. You get a bowline knot. It's a very strong knot. Again, watch this again. I have a rabbit. I have a tree. I make a loop. I twist. A twist loop. I'll hold it this way so it's easier for you to see. Take the rabbit, goes through the tree, or through the hole, around the tree, so around the tree, full loop, then back through the hole, and I pull the tree and the loop at the bottom, not the rabbit. Now that's a little bit of a complicated knot, but it's a great knot. If that is a little hard for you, there is a cheater knot. I'll show it to you right now. Works great too. Take this, you pull the tag end back to make a loop like this, and on the end where the tag is, you make a loop like so. And you take this end where they're folded up together and you pass it back through the loop you just made to make this knot. What we're trying to do is get a loop that will not get smaller and that can hold a lot of tension. So that's step one. We take our end that has the loop on it, we wrap this around our first tree. Like that. And for the A-frame, we're going to go about waist high. We take that loop and we run our cord through the loop. We create a hitch like that. Okay, so now that I have my line hitched to my far tree by taking the loose end and running it through the bowline knot, through whatever loop I chose to make, I'm going to tie what's called a trucker's hitch. And a trucker's hitch is how we make sure that our line is tight. Trucker's hitch is a little tricky, so pay attention here. Here's my line. I'm going to go about 2 feet off of my tree, and I'm going to tie what's called a slip knot. I tie a slip knot by making a loop, pushing the line through, and pulling the far end. What I'll have here is a loop in the middle of my line. Now watch, it's called a slip knot because it slips. It was a wasp, sorry about that. So again, my slip knot, I make a loop, I pinch it, I pull the tag end through, and I pull the far side tight. And I get a slip knot that disappears. No, almost disappears. There it goes. So about 2 feet off, tie my slip knot. The next thing I'm going to do, my slip knot, wrap this line around this tree. And without pulling it tight yet, because it will undo the slip knot, I'm going to pull it through the loop of my slip knot. So it goes around the tree and through this loop, around the tree and through the loop. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, once I do that, you can see here, once I get the line all the way through, I can pull it tight. And this slip knot is holding my tag end. And once I do that, what I'm going to do is pinch this with all my fingers, all my might, to keep it tight. So I'm going to pinch all of it. Then I take the tag end and make a loop. Okay, make a loop around, so just a loop this way. And I'm just going to tie a regular knot. I'm going to slip the tag end under the loop I just made. So I'm going to slip it under the loop I just made. Pull it all the way through. You can tie whatever kind of knot you want here, but this is just a regular old overhand knot. Loop with the line through it. And that will hold my line. That's a little bit loose, so I'm going to tighten it up. But that's the trucker's hitch. Okay, as you can see, I've got my line set up. It's real tight. I can pluck it like a guitar string. It vibrates back and forth. I'm almost done. So the next step is I'm going to take my shorter paracord here, and it's a little over a foot. I'm going to take the two tag ends, put them together, pinch them together. And on those two tag ends, I'm going to make a loop like this. I'm going to take the tag ends and pass them back through the loop. Pull it tight so that I have a knot on the end and a loop here that's real strong. And I'm going to do that for all 4 of my shorter pieces of paracord. Now once I've done that, I'm going to take my tarp and I'm going to create hitches on the 4 corners of my tarp. So the way I make a hitch is I take the rounded end of my little loop that I made here, I pass it through the eye hole, and I go about halfway, half on top up here, half on bottom, and I pass one loop under the other loop, and that makes a hitch. And these are going to be secured onto the corners. Okay, so once I have my my 4 corners hitched on with my loops, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tarp and lay it out lengthwise so that the long end is going to be going this way. The long end's going to go this way. And the A-frame shelter is cool because if we have put our line close enough to the ground, it's going to keep us real warm and it's going to give us protection from both sides from the wind. So once I've got it laid out like this, lengthwise, I want to go right in the middle, make sure that my line runs right through the middle of my tent, or my tarp. What I'll do is I'll take my stakes, my tent stakes, and I'll pull one end a little tight because it's not secured on the other side yet. And I'll drive my stake into the ground using the loop as the hook. There's one. I'll do it on the other side. And pull it tight all the way across. And there's 2. Now I'm going to go do that on the other side, and then we should have an A-frame set up. So here we go. This is our A-frame. You would go inside here and spend the night sleeping. So it'll keep you warm because it's real close to the ground, protect you from the wind on both sides. We've got our 4 corners staked out. We're ready to go.